See if you can help.
Fuck! Fuck is right. I told my dad a couple weeks back that I was working at Enron, in a huge skyscraper that had several employees beneath me. Now, while I may have people beneath me, they're hardly employees.
Fuck! What? Fuck! My dad's coming in today.
Usually when my anxiety flares up, I'll have Kib sing me one of his songs, usually the one about the field.
Every little thing, guy, is gonna be just fine.
Sing a
Fine,
song,
fine, fine.
sing a song about
Which
the
one?
field. Sing a song about the
The
field.
fields and the rivers and the berry field and the other field has
It's not helping.
That's how it goes.
Just act normal.
It's gonna be fine.
I'll act normal. Just act normal. I'm not worried. Are you guys worried?
You're the one who flipped.
I'm not worried.
You're clearly worried.
I was worried. Probably the most worried I'd ever been in my life. Even more worried than when I found out Denis Villeneuve isn't directing the Sicario sequel. Sorry, Taylor Sheridan. You need the D.
Hey. Okay, yeah, I'll be right out. What do you mean, what am I wearing? What? I'll see you in a second.
I had James and Kib try to sell the idea to my father that we were a successful company. So while I brought them in, they'd be inside doing something that looked relatively important.
So, it's not,
Dude, they're coming.
not the greatest area.
I mean, it's a good area if you want to get your nails done or like, Jesus Christ, dude.
Excuse me, guys. I'm some important
They're trying to do some important graph work over there.
If you look at the trajectory,
It comes up.
on the scale of million to the type of shark, because
Shark,
we're working in the Japanese film technology.
The film industry is
So
with the sharks.
Well, we started here, and we were on a good trajectory. It was skyrocketing, and then all of a sudden, boom, big explosion,
Big explosion.
and everyone's dead.
With the sharks.
I had a lot of questions. However, none revolved around the sharks.
Oh, this is Toy, my fiance.
Her name's
Toy.
Toy?
Yeah,
nickname?
with an I.
Toy, does she have a last name?
Soon to be the same last name as yours. Meet your new mom. Sexy, isn't she?
Toy with an I. I felt ill with 2 L's.
Mom!
Aw,
Kind of.
That makes me
Very
very
nice to meet
happy.
you.
Dean, what are you to me?
I mean, I don't really want to think of you as related because that kind of limits our options.
What about me?
All
What do you think
right.
of me?
She's so
Things
young,
I think
though.
about you make me
She's
wake
so
up in the
young.
morning in a pool of, let's just call it.
Oh, yuck.
I figured I'd best be cordial and ask how the two met.
I don't know, but can you say upgrade? I mean, your mom never looked this good.
Yeah, she was ugly as shit, dude.
You know when you're a teenager and you go through that rebellious phase where everything your parents say is embarrassing? This is very similar, except everything my dad says could be the basis of a lawsuit.
She never looked that good.
I mean, she had a certain charm about her, but at a certain point, you can't fuck charm.
You just can't fuck charm, dude.
I bet you can fuck Toy.
Oh, you can.
No. What the?
Excuse me while I take a bath.
Could we talk outside just for a bit? Just you and me? Not Toy.
There's nothing you can say in front of me that you can't say in front of my Toy.
Please?
Seriously, Steven?
Yeah.
Okay, you got 2 minutes.
Oh, I'll miss you.
Baby, I'll be right back. If you're good, we'll have toy time.
I just hoped that he wouldn't go into detail.
Yeah?
Oh, yuck.
It seemed innocent enough, as long as that's where it ended. He wouldn't stop.
You didn't even call me after I got in a car accident. Or you could called after we won the Streamies.
Toy and I want to streamy at our group party.
No. Well, I imagine it's but 2 different things that we're talking about.
No, it's streamy. Like, I soaked her.
So-
It's like, well, this one doesn't work as well as mine does.
Yuck. At least I could be glad that I wasn't inside with Toy. I looked at her ID, and turns out her legal name was Toy. She did have a last name, though, and it was just the word fuck.
Look, your friends are one of my most favorite things about you. I'm sure she's having a blast.
How old are you?
They do-do-do-do's. Do-do-do.
How old are you?
23.
Yeah.
It's a good age.
Yeah. Crazy. Oh, I left something over here.
God, what's up? What's up?
Nice farmer's tan! Not Alfredo. Not like this.
Fuck, dude.
I don't know what's going on.
What the hell is going on?
Is she
What is
trying
this?
to have sex with us?
I don't know.
I mean, she's being nice. She's probably
She's being
having,
very nice.
probably
She's
having
being just
sex.
friendly. It's probably sexual.
No,
She's flirting with
this
us.
isn't fucking
Dude,
good.
she's probably in it for the money.
Do you think so?
No,
There's
we
no
don't have
way.
any.
We're not doing.
Are we doing this?
We're doing this.
Are we doing this? No,
No, no,
dude.
we're not doing this.
Cover me.
Okay. So what do you do? What do you do for her? What do you? How do you make money?
I work in a sex shop.
Do you
What's the 3?
Huh?
3? Like a threesome?
No.
Oh wow, this isn't actually the first time Kib's done this. Back in summer camp, he'd call it Paperman Randy, and he'd cover himself in paper towels, or napkins, or printer paper, or just any paper really, and he'd strip down to his knickknacks and make me watch him straddle the mechanical bull that was there. Memories, man.
Why are you talking to me about not telling me that I'm engaged or not calling you? I didn't even know you had a girlfriend. I still don't think she's real.
I've told you 18 times at least that I have a fiance.
Yeah, when am I gonna meet this fiance?
You can meet her anytime. I've invited you to dinners countless times.
Everyone vies for their parents' affection, but throughout all the conversations I've had with my dad, it just doesn't seem like we're getting anywhere. James and Kib, on the other hand, were making too much progress.
Do you like taking chances?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important in life to take chances and risks and stuff.
My dad asked to meet my fiance, and after all the conversations we've had, I started realizing that maybe that's just not the best decision.
You know, upon thinking about it, no.
Why?
Because you're a goddamn pervert. All the time. I feel like you have a sex addiction. Which I don't even believe in, but if I did, it would be you.
That's really hurtful, Steve. I thought I raised you better than that. You don't judge people. How many years did I suffer because of that whole family?
She had debilitating cancer. She was bedridden.
Good, then now maybe the two of you actually have something in common. And
I
keep
don't
the
have
hat.
cancer.
Well, you look like it. Maybe you can raise a little money that way because this YouTube bullshit sure isn't working. Fucking skyscraper my ass.
When's your birthday?
September 11th.
Dangerous. What's your sign?
Stop.
Steve, dude.
What is up with that Craig
God
Monhor?
damn it.
Dude, that toy.
Succubus.
She's a succubus
And
demon.
she'll suck your nuts.
I mean, she seemed nice. I don't know, I'm just kind of in a bad mood now.
What happened?
I don't know, I just don't think I'm ever gonna get the answer from him that I want.
What's up?
And what's that?
I don't know that he's proud of me.
You know who you do matter to? You boys.
I always forget that I do have a family, one that's actually proud. They're right here, right in front of me, every single day. So I figured maybe it was best to spend some time with my real family.
There are some nights I hold to every note I ever wrote. Some nights I say fuck it all, stare at the calendar, waiting for catastrophes, imagining they'd scare me into changing whatever it is I am changing into. And you have every right to be scared. Why you wanna stay? Oh my God, have you listened to me lately? Lately, I've been fucking crazy. There are some nights I wait for someone to save us, but I never look inward. Try not to look upward. And some nights I pray a sun is gonna come to me, but usually I'm just trying to get some sleep.